Greetings, everybody. I'm Amy Holmes, filling in for Steve Malzberg on the Steve Malzberg Show. Steve is off today, celebrating the Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah. I'm joined now by syndicated radio host Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson. He's the president of BOND, which stands for the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. Reverend, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Amy. I appreciate it. Thank you.
In sunny Southern California, although you said there was a little rain this morning?
I woke up this morning around 3. It was raining, and I saw it as a gift from God.
Yes, you guys have gone through a lot weather-wise. Well, you have written a very controversial column on Kim Davis. She's the Rowan County clerk who refused to issue marriage licenses because of her religious opposition to same-sex marriage. Well, yesterday, Kim Davis went back to work, and she promised not to interfere with marriage licenses being issued. I want you to take a listen to her very tearful press conference.
While there are many accommodations available, a very simple accommodation I have proposed is to remove my name and title as the clerk of Rowan County completely off the marriage license. Because my pleas for a modest accommodation have been refused or not acted upon, I have been required to do that which my conscience forbids, effective immediately. And until an accommodation is provided by those with the authority to provide it, any marriage license issued by my office will not be issued or authorized by me.
So, Reverend, you wrote a column comparing Kim Davis to Rosa Parks, which is a comparison that was, of course, very controversial, that Rosa Parks was a private citizen who was objecting and resisting public discrimination, while people said, look, Kim Davis, she was a public official who, some would say, was actually discriminating against private individuals. Tell us how it was that you draw this comparison and why you are such a strong supporter of Kim Davis as a civil rights activist.
Yeah, I compare Kim Davis, as you said, to Rosa Parks, because Rosa Parks was a hero to me, and Kim Davis is a modern day hero, in that they both stood against evil and stood up for good. I grew up on a plantation down in Alabama under the Jim Crow laws. I grew up with the white signs only and black signs only. And we as Black Americans were discriminated against because of our color, not because of who we had sex with. Kim Davis is standing up because homosexuality is an abnormal lifestyle, and it goes against the principles of God. And so, like Rosa Parks, she is standing on values, what is right, and I really admire her for that, as I admire Rosa Parks for that. I'm also insulted when I hear anyone comparing homosexuality or abnormal sex to Black Americans. We, as I said, we were discriminated against because of our color. They never asked us who we were having sex with, and so those people who are upset and that I am comparing Kim Davis to Rosa Parks, they did not understand or do not understand that Rosa Parks was a Christian, and in those days, Black Americans were not in support of homosexuality in no form or fashion.
But Reverend, let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. That Rosa Parks was a Christian, and you give the example of Reverend Martin Luther King also being a Christian who opposed homosexuality. Yeah. But you didn't need to be a Christian to agree that Black and white Americans should not be discriminated amongst, or Black Americans to be discriminated against. And a lot of gay rights activists say, look, you know, we have separation of church and state, and that the state should not be discriminating against people who have same-sex attraction and who want to marry the person that they love, regardless of the gender of that person. Why do you reject that argument?
Well, no human being should be discriminated against based on color, but as Christians, we have a responsibility to reject wrongdoing. Because
hold on. Again, let me stop you right there. I understand as Christians and in terms of biblical teaching, but Kim Davis was not acting in her capacity as a Christian when she agreed to be a public clerk for Rowan County. So let me give you an example. Kim Davis has been married multiple times. How would you feel if she went to a marriage counter and that clerk said, I'm an Orthodox Catholic and I don't recognize your second through fourth marriages, so I will not issue you a marriage license because my biblical teachings tell me that those marriages are not, are not legitimate. Do you think that would be fair?
Well, see, there is no comparison
Why not?
Homosexuality, because homosexuality is based on sex. Homosexuality is not about values. It's not about civil rights. It's not about love. It's not, well,
Whoa,
it's
whoa,
not
whoa,
about
Reverend, a
all.
lot of gay
It's
people would
not,
disagree with you, but I'm asking you
no,
about
no,
the biblical,
we all know that
argument,
it's
which
not
is
about
if a
love.
clerk said, my Bible tells me multiple marriages are sinful, therefore I will not respect your multiple marriages, how is that any different from Kim Davis refusing to give out marriage licenses based on her biblical understanding of homosexual relationships?
Because the discussion would still be about men and women. A marriage is between a man and a woman, not between two men or two women. That has been the law, the rule forever, ever since mankind has been on earth. And so what homosexuals are trying to do is to get you to change the rules based on sex. And Kim Davis is not concerned about who they have sex with, but when it comes to comparing it to a man and woman being married, then it's a different story. And plus,
Reverend, let me ask you this, just in terms of Kim Davis and her, civil disobedience and your admiration for her active civil disobedience.
Yeah.
She now says she'll go back to work and she won't interfere with those marriage licenses being, given out, being certified. What she would like is to have her name taken off the marriage license. My question to you is that a reasonable compromise? Would you agree with Rowan County allowing same-sex marriage licenses just so long as Kim Davis's name isn't on it?
well, I'm totally against so-called same-sex marriage. It will destroy a society if we should allow that to happen. But I like the step that Kim is taking. She's still not going against her values. And, the Supreme Court said that same-sex marriage is legal now across the country, but that's not so because in Kentucky, it is not legal. And the citizens voted against it. There's no law that says that you have to give these people license to get married.
Well, the Supreme Court did strike down state bans on same-sex marriage. But again, going back to Kim Davis being a Kentucky county clerk, acting as a public official, do you think that it's a fair compromise that Rowan County will give out marriage licenses if they take her name off those licenses? That is a compromise that respects her religious values.
I do not agree with them giving out marriage license to same-sex so-called couples at all. I think they should follow what Kim is trying to do. And if they want to change the law, then take it back to court and deal with it in the courts.
But that already happened, Reverend. It went all the way to the Supreme Court.
But still, it's not legal. In Supreme Court is not there to make laws, to interpret laws. And it's not legal for them to force Kentucky to give out so-called same-sex marriage. The one good thing about it, even though she's taking her name off and they're still giving out these licenses, it's just an empty piece of paper anyway. It doesn't mean anything. And so I'm looking forward to see what the next step that Kim will take and other Christians who see what's going on in our country.
All right, Reverend, thank you for the conversation. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, coming up next, it's the panel with Jessica Tarlov and John Fund. Stick around, you won't want to miss it. I'm Amy Holmes, and I'm filling in for Steve Malzberg on The Steve Malzberg Show. This Wednesday night, immediately following the CNN debate, Newsmax is hosting a post-debate special featuring Ed Berliner, J.D. Hayworth, and Steve Malzberg. We'll bring you all the highlights from the debate with full analysis from our expert panel of Dick Morris and John Zogby. We'll also be joined by special guests Dr. Ben Carson and Michael Reagan live from the debate, so make sure you tune in Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern only on Newsmax TV. And immediately following the debate, Newsmax will be conducting an instant poll, and we want you, Newsmax viewers, to weigh in, judge who you feel the winner was. All you need to do is sign up right now at newsmax.com/judge. This will enter you as a debate judge, and results will be shared live on our broadcast. Sign up right now at newsmax.com/judge.